My sister Natalie sipped her champagne, smirking at me across the family reunion tent. You're 37 and still teaching high school history? No real money, no fancy house, still single. When are you gonna make something of yourself? At our grandma's 90th birthday party, I set my paper cup of lemonade down slow, the crinkle loud enough to hutch the circle of family around us. I've been married for 4 years, and my husband and I have fostered 3 teens together. My mom froze mid-hug with a cousin, her mouth hanging open. My dad's smile dropped clean off his face. Natalie's husband Richard stopped mid-conversation, his drink halfway to his lips. The entire group went dead silent. Married? Fostering kids? My mom whispered, like she couldn't believe the words. To who? His name is Sam. We've been together 8 years, married 4. We bought our house in Boston 3 years ago, the one with the big library we built for the kids. Natalie recovered first, snorting a sharp, disbelieving laugh. You're lying. There's no way you hid a husband and 3 foster kids from us for 4 years. I wasn't hiding them. I just never told any of you because none of you ever asked about my life. That landed exactly how I meant it to. My family decided who I was when I was 17. Natalie was the golden child, the overachiever who got into med school, became a plastic surgeon, married a wealthy lawyer, had a perfect daughter, posted flawless family photos every holiday. I was the quiet kid who'd rather read history books than network, who became a high school teacher instead of a doctor, who slowly became someone they only called on major holidays. Even then, Natalie would hijack the call in 3 minutes to talk about her new clinic opening or her daughter's horseback riding competitions. Every family gathering had the same script. Natalie and Richard were the center of attention, my parents fawning over their every move. I'd stand in the corner, answering the same 3 questions. Still teaching high school. Don't you get lonely living alone? Have you thought about getting a higher paying job? Yet I am why mom actually said that last one at Christmas 2 years ago, while passing the cookie platter. Meanwhile, I'd been living with Sam for 2 years at that point. He proposed on a random Saturday afternoon, while we were setting up a new bookshelf for our foster daughter's room. He got down on one knee, holding a simple gold band that had been my grandpa's, which he'd asked grandma for months before. He said he didn't want a big fancy proposal, just something that felt like home, like us. I said yes, covered in sawdust, and we married in our backyard a month later, with just his family, our foster kids, and grandma. Grandma walked me down the aisle. Sam's sister baked a vanilla cake, and my parents? I never told them because I knew exactly what would happen. My mom would cry about not being invited. My dad would lecture about family tradition, and Natalie would find a way to make my wedding, my foster kids, my entire life, about herself, just like she made everything about herself. So I kept it. My quiet, beautiful, chaotic life with a man who loved me, who celebrated every student win and every foster kid milestone, who never once made me feel visible. After I dropped the bomb, Natalie crossed her arms, glaring. If you're really married, where's your ring? I held up my left hand. The same simple gold grandpa's band I'd worn every single day for 4 years. Every single person at that table had seen it. Not one of them had ever asked about it. My mom's face crumpled. I thought that was a hand-me-down from grandpa, just a keepsake you wore for fun. You thought that because you never looked close enough to care. My dad cleared his throat. Why wouldn't you tell us something this important? Because the last time I tried to share something important, you talked over me for 45 minutes about Natalie's new clinic. I told you I'd won state teacher of the year, and mom said, that's nice, honey, and turned right back to Natalie's clinic photos. Natalie's eyes narrowed. This is so selfish. Mom and dad deserve to be at your wedding, to meet these kids. You robbed them of that. You robbed me of a family that noticed I existed. Natalie stepped forward, her voice rising. You're making yourself the victim, like always. You chose to be a teacher. You chose to be distant. I chose to protect my happiness from people who never valued it. Show us a photo then. Proof he's real. I pulled out my phone. Sam and me at our backyard wedding, grandma by my side. Us reading to our foster kids in our library. A photo of me with my teacher of the year award. For years of a life they never knew about because they never cared enough to look. My mom started crying. I can't believe you'd keep this from me. I can't believe you never noticed your son was happy. My dad stared at the photos quietly. He looks like a good man. And what you're doing for these kids, that's incredible. He is. I'd like to meet him. My dad said. He's at the cottage down the road. Everyone's head snapped toward the driveway. He drove me here. He's been waiting with our youngest foster kid for an hour because I told him my family wasn't ready. I walked to the driveway, waved, and Sam pulled up in our minivan, our 12-year-old foster daughter waving from the passenger seat. He got out, gave me that warm smile I fell in love with, and walked over to the tent. He shook my dad's hand, hugged my mom even though she was sobbing, introduced himself to Natalie, who just stared at him without speaking. He sat down and said, I've heard a lot about all of you. The silence told him everything he needed to know about what they'd heard about him. We stayed for 1 more hour. When we left, my mom grabbed my arm at the car. Please don't disappear again. I looked at her for a long time. I never disappeared. You just stopped looking.